Today's video is about a well-known parable from Shrimadbhagavatam, wherein the duties of a king are laid down by providing an incident in which the king looks after Dharma, the concept of duty, and earth, which is mother to us all. The narrative reads as follows. A few years after the conclusion of the Mahabharata war, King Yudhishthira, accompanied by his brothers and Queen Draupadi, walked into the Himalayan mists, never to return. Parikshit, Arjuna's grandson, ascended the Hastinapur throne. He ruled as a fair, just and liberal sovereign. Under the guidance of his guru Kripacharya, Parikshit performed 3 Ashwamedh Yagyas on the banks of the river Ganga. It was a time of transition. An age had come to an end. Another was trying to establish itself slowly, stealthily, but surely. The age was Kaliyuga, which continues to prevail even now. In Hindu calendar, we have the concept of Satyug, Treta, Dwapura and Kaliyuga. So the transition of civilization has been divided into 4 parts, Kaliyuga being the last. Maharaja, we have brought you bad tidings, said the king's informant. Your kingdom is heavily protected, yet Kaliyuga has entered on the sly. He is lowly and mean and cruel. He is eating cows and calves. He is encouraging your subjects to smoke, drink and use drugs. Maharaja, you alone can vanquish him. Otherwise, he is too powerful for our warriors. Send for my chariot and my arms, ordered the king. Parikshit rode a chariot drawn by black stallions that galloped at the speed of lightning. A flag carrying the insignia of a lion flew at the mast. His warriors followed him in chariots, on horses, on elephants, or marched on foot. On this expedition to wipe out Kaliyuga, Parikshit found by the wayside a lame bull and a cow busy in conversation. They were Dharma and Prithvi incarnate. The latter was shedding tears like a mother who has lost a son. The king could overhear their conversation. Kalyani, said Dharma, addressing Prithvi, all is not well with you. You have lost your glow. Your face is deprived of its color. There has to be a cause for this intense unhappiness. Are you worried because someone close to you has departed for a faraway land? Do you fear that the mean Kaliyuga has arrived to establish his rule over you? Does it pain you to see that there is a famine caused by long drought and that your people might starve? Good questions. O mighty Prithvi, does your grief lie in my miserable condition that I have lost 3 legs? This loss is symbolic here. It will be explained later in the parable. Are you worried that even the learned have sold their conscience for power and wealth? That they are greedily pursuing material goods, lustily chasing women, and indulging in bouts of drinking? O auspicious one, you are a treasure house of gems, minerals and wealth. The finest of crops grow on you enough to feed large populations. Why are you then so sad? What is amiss? Has Kal, who can humble the mightiest of warriors, by any chance snatched your suhag? How do I alleviate your distress, O kind woman, who offers shelter to all mankind? Good questions. Prithvi replied, Look at your pathetic condition, O Dharma. You have lost 3 of your legs at the arrival of Kaliyuga. Your incarnation, the king Yudhishthira, is no more. People no longer distinguish between right or wrong. Kaliyuga has wiped our moral values, the virtues of justice, righteousness, piety, equity, impartiality, propriety, and decorum. I am unhappy in your unhappiness, in your helplessness. I grieve because the pious are downtrodden. I grieve for the loss of innocence, of piety and generosity. Mind the language. Superb words, thoughts describing a fallen social condition, a deteriorating piety of a whole society. I mourn for the times gone by, said Prithvi, times when Krishna had descended to destroy the forces of evil and to protect the righteous. I am told that he too has returned to his Lakshmi. I cannot fight Kaliyuga on my own by myself, replied the bull. Parikshit noticed that a lowly, ignoble person dressed in royal robes was brutally hitting this miserable pair with a stick. There was no master accompanying the lame bull and the tearful cow. The bull, white as a lotus stalk, supporting himself on one leg alone, was trembling. Fear and pain from the beatings made him defecate and pass urine. The cow that provides milk to mankind without making a distinction of any kind was being beaten mercilessly. Her eyes were discharging green mucus. She was hungry. She missed her calf. She was more of a skeleton than a healthy animal. Who are you, O lowly beast? Parikshit challenged the devilish tormentor in a sonorous, commanding voice. Who are you, O lowly beast? How dare you pester these innocent animals? My Praja, you are in royal clothes, although your actions belie this claim. You have committed a crime. You deserve to die. Addressing the bull, the king observed, You are fair like a lotus stem. You are able to walk even with one leg. It pains me to see your suffering. Are you a devata? My kingdom is safe for all the good and noble persons, continued the king. I have not seen anyone except you weeping like this. Please shed your fear like old clothes. O Dhenu Putra, he calls him the son of the cow. Parikshit looked at the cow and said, Mother, do not weep. Your suffering has come to an end. It is my duty as a king to protect you as well as all other beings. The king whose populace is harassed by evildoers loses name. It's a lesson for all the rulers. He loses fame, longevity, and a blessed hereafter. A crowd had gathered by the bayside. They kept their distance from the glorious king and stood listening with their heads bowed in deference. The frightened bull raised his head and spoke in human voice. Rajan, you are a descendant of the Pandava dynasty. It behoves you to provide assurance and shelter to the oppressed. It is difficult to ascertain the cause of one's unhappiness. It can be self or destinies or one's temperament. It can be our actions. Some attribute to even God. A person decides according to his intellect. Parikshit could see through reality. Said he, Vrishabdev, the manner in which you have analyzed suffering shows that you are Dharma incarnate. It is your nobility that you have not even named your tormentor. In the Satayuga you had 4 legs: penance, purity, piety and truth. 3 of these have been destroyed by pride, attachment and passion. The only limb left with you is truth. Mad with untruth, this Kaliyuga craves to devour that as well. I won't allow. Addressing the cow, the chivalrous king said, Mother, you are Prithvi incarnate. Bhagavan Krishna had relieved you of the burden of evildoers. The imprints of his golden feet had covered you with celebration. Today you are bereft of the celebration of Anand. You are worried about the quality and of the rulers in the times to come. However, I assure you of my protection till I breathe my last. Kaliyuga stood shivering. He dared not challenge Parikshit nor give him a fight. His limbs grew weak. He could not run. Meanwhile, Parikshit had raised his sword to behead Kaliyuga the predator. The latter hastily took off his royal robes and prostrated before the king, asking for mercy. I am ordained by Kal to spread my empire at the end of Dwapura, said Kaliyuga, the age that came to an end with the departure of Lord Krishna. Spare me, O king, otherwise how shall I fulfill my dharma? I shall leave your kingdom and reside wherever you permit. Parikshit's nobility overcame his revulsion. I shall not kill you because you have begged for mercy. However, henceforth you will not reside in my land. Where shall I go, my master? Your domain extends all over. The king replied, I allot you 4 places to rule. I request my listeners to listen carefully how the unwanted qualities of Kaliyuga are pervading today. Said Parikshit, you can lord over any place where there is gambling, indulgence in liquor, prostitution and violence. In such a place 4 adharmas, falsehood, passion, attachment and cruelty prevail. It's so true. Allot me 1 more place, my lord. He pleaded with the king. Fine, you can spread your ugly tentacles where there is gold or immeasurable wealth, because such possession turns the heads of human beings towards evil deeds. Immeasurable wealth turns the heads of human beings towards evil deeds. How true. Causing rifts even between brothers, the king declared. Kaliyuga smiled. He had struck a comfortable bargain. Waving Kaliyuga away, Parikshit took care of the injured bull and the debilitated cow. Through divine intervention, he restored Dharma, his 3 legs of penance, purity and piety. For Prithvi, he was compassion incarnate. He took care of her ecology, of her trees, rivers, minerals, and of her crops and plants. Jai Sri Krishna, Jai Sri Krishna, Jai Sri Krishna.